Okay, good morning all. And today we are going to be discussing steps to install the JDK and the corresponding IDE called Eclipse, right? And before installation, so it's again you have to check with your system compatibility, and firstly you need to download it from an official website to Oracle, and you have a different versions that are available. So JDK 1.6, 1.7, 8 and 9, and presently we are using the 16th version. And first you need to check out and then you have to download it, right? And now I already downloaded the JDK 8 version and again the Eclipse JW 2090 version, right? So firstly I'll start with installation steps of a JDK. So how to install a JDK, and next how to set an environment path, right? So just execute with the executable file. So double click on the exe file of JDK version 8. So again it will take some time, so that depends on the system speed and the RAM capacity. So hardly max to max it will take 10 to 15 minutes for installation of your JDK. And Eclipse, it's executable file, there no need to install with an Eclipse, just it will ask you to work it with an workspace to be identified for a particular path. So in the background it is verifying that version, and you can see it here. So this is an installation process for the JDK 8 version, and just you need to click it with next option. So it will start downloading with the packages whatever is there in background. It is going to be working within a Windows installer. And nextly it is asking you to check with the tools that are going to be installing with the parallel way. So development tools is there, source code is there, and the public JRE. And in case if your user requires to modify the path to install your JDK, you can modify it with an option change is there. So if your memory is already available, sufficient space is there in the C drive, you can retain the same path and no need to change with the path to be installed of your JDK followed by JRE. So I'll just retaining the same location, and it depends on your system. You can modify the path where exactly you need to install your JDK file. So I'll be retaining the same thing, just I'm entering the next. So now it is starting with the validating and component registrations and some compatible files and unwanted files. Everything it is going to be carried out in the installation process. So again it will take 3 to 20 seconds, sometimes it will take 1 minute to complete a process. Again, as I told, it depends on the speed of your system. Once JDK is complete, and nextly it is installing within JRE, so Java Development Kit, and afterwards you will be installing Java Runtime Environment. And you can check with the folder parallelly in C drive program files within, and you can see so JDK is already installed, right? So JR is not yet installed, so since it is processing in a background, and you can visualize parallelly. Again JRE folder is command place with the same path, and again it should be in the same path. You should not modify the path where exactly JDK is you are installed. Same path you have to take it for Java path. In case if you don't have sufficient space, take with a different path. But in environment setting, user has to specify the path separately for JDK along with JRE. So it is a good practice if you save it in the same folder. It's an easy to identify the path for compiler to compile the programs. And if you want to install any IDs like NetBeans and Eclipse, it is an easiest method. Now it is completed, and you can see it in the destination folder. Once JDK is done, so next option is you're installing with a JRE, and you can see with the same path C drive program files and Java within JRE 1.80 it will be installed. In case if you want to install it in a different location or a path in your system, you can use change option and you can monitor. As of now I'll be retaining the same location and path, just give next option. So you can again see with the folder here only JDK is available. Now I'll be click with the next option. Now you can verify it. So JRE comes and plays in a same folder, which is a path you have selected for JDK and JRE. Now we can see it is installed. So compiler is JDK and interpreter is JRE. So again it will take minimum 1 minute or maximum 3 to 4 minutes for setting up your installation process. Once the installation is done, then you need to check it with the command prompt whether it is installed it or not. So we are using environment path setting variable concept, since we can run the application with any irrespective of any locations. After installation, it's an user responsibility to set environment path variable. What is environment path variable? It is just to allocating the path of your compiler, allocating the path of your JRE that you are going to be specifying with your environment variable. So if you're running your program, so that code has to identify, so that has to be compiled, so that hardware has to understand what exactly code that is written by user and where is the location of a compiler, where is the location of interpreter. So irrespective of any location, you can run the program. So that is a one advantage. We are setting environment variable path, so that we're going to be discussed after completion of this installation process. You can see it already 1 minute is completed. And if you just log in with the JDK folder, you can see the bin folder. Within that, you can identify the compiler it is installed. Java C it's installed. And same thing if you just log into JRE as an interpreter, again bin folder is there. Again it will connected with all the files in the different format. So Java, Java P, Java W, so different types of files that are supported for your compilation and interpretation purpose. All the packages library and corresponding files are going to be installing it. And you can see now it is done. So it is completed successfully with installations. If you want any documentation to be viewed, steps to be accessed, you can go with the next steps, or else you can terminate with the close option. You can close this, right? And now the next option, you need to check out whether it is installed it or not. So just go for command, so Windows run button, and check out whether Java C, whether it is installed or not. Now it is already installed, right? So just check out which is the version you have installed. So just Java's hyphen version. So it is identified 1.8. Now the question, I already set an environment variable path for both JDK and JRE. How to set an environment path for your JDK and JRE? So just go to this PC and enter with the properties, and next select advanced system settings. So you have the option here, advanced system settings. Check with advanced system settings and go to environment variables, and you can see it's already installed. So previously I installed the and I set it a path. You can check out this edit, and you can see, and you have to give the variable name as a java underscore home, and the path again where exactly it is installed, location or a directory, and you should select the bin within that Java compiler is available. So it is already done, hence I am not modifying anything. But if you're installing newly and the first time, this has to be setted firstly by user. So then only that your Java compiler can identify your source program to compile along with running your application. This is an Java home for JDK, and again you can select with a path and go for edit. You can check it here. So here you have to take two things. For setting the path, you have to take Java JDK followed by bin along with C program followed by C followed by program files followed by Java connected with JRE. So both has to be there for path, right? So if you're designing and creating a new application, both is required. If you're just running, only JRE is required. That's a basic difference between JDK and JRE. So if you're writing the code from scratch, JDK is required, and if you already have a byte code, JRE is required, right? So that's the basic difference. Now it's already set it. So that's why once if you enter with the command prompt, you will get with an compatibility and all the versions of your Java compiler, and again which version you have installed, that also you can easily identify, right? So this is a basic step how exactly you can install your Java JDK applications connected with the Java program running step, and this is how you are going to be working with your applications. And nextly, I'll check with installation of your Eclipse IDE. So Eclipse IDE, so it's already downloaded. Again you can download it from official website, Eclipse download. And for this I think installation is not needed. You just double click on this exe file, automatically it will load the complete packages. But these packages or whatever Eclipse you are going to be installing, that is going to be checking the compatibility with your JDK software which are you installed. Sometimes you will be having 1.6 version, 1.7 version or 1.8 version, right? Eclipse is going to be compatible with that present version what you have installed. So now I taken 1.8 version, Eclipse is going to be comparing, and again it is going to be syncing with each other. So hardly it will take minimum 5 minutes or 10 minutes for completing the settings. And it is not like installation same as your JDK and JDK. It will just create a packages and what packages you can create with an applications. And Eclipse IDE is an interface. We can call it is an integrated development environment where user can write and implement basic Java programs and updated technological programs. And you can also create with an web applications, console application, window applications. You can create it with an advanced Java programming concept. Everything is possible, right? So as a learner, command prompt is the best method. So command prompt through you can practice the program. But once if you practice and if you understand the basic concept of hoops concept, implementation of the Java programming syntax, then you can go for using an Eclipse ID, right? So as you can see it in a screen, so this is how your welcome screen and the Eclipse ID is going to be looks, right? And you can see the source, it's already taken with a workspace. I just show up with an workspace what it is taken. It is there in D folder. So you can see it here. So this is a workspace that is created for Eclipse. All the programs will be stored it here. So within this, all the programs will be. If you click with the source, you can see. So 4 programs it's already created, right? So every programs whatever you have created is going to be recorded and copied in the same location. So if you want to perform with a new program, just go to File and select New and create a class. So here I am writing the class name, called it as CSE. So CSE, and I'll be using public static void main, right? So then again wait, select with the source folder. So close this, go to new, select new class, then so take it with an CI. So I'll be taking with an test class. So because already CS is created, I'll be taking test class. Then you can click with public static void main and finish. Now you can see test.java file will be created automatically. I just created a test, and you can see file name is test.java and class name is also same. So it is easy method to save the class name should be same as file name. And again it is an approach, it is not mandatory. You can give the different name. So if you want, you can give the file name different and class name, but you have to be specified specifically, and compiler will understand the class name to compile the file that you are going to be writing as a logic of the program. So just I'll add up with one simple example with the help of a scanner class. I just take a package. So later we'll discuss what exactly the packages are there required for taking input and all. As of now, scanner is a class. It is available within utility package in order to read an input from an user. So I'm just taking scanner class, and within this I'll be creating an object. Since Java program is an object oriented, input has to be taken through object itself, and I'm creating an object called P. So new is a keyword which is used to create an object for scanner class, and system.in is nothing but you are expecting input from the keyboard. So now object P is created. I'll just write it here. P is an object. P is an object for class. P is an object for scanner class. It is same as C++ syntax itself. In C++ also you are creating an object for a class, right? Same thing here, scanner is a class. It is going to be accept an input through an user, that is an keyboard input will be taken. So now I'll take an input int a equals to int a is equal to p dot next. You can check out different input, you can read it. So since I take an integer, I'll be going for next int. So next int, and then I'll be putting semicolon. Next int b equals to p dot next int, then semicolon, right? And just I'll take with one statement, system dot out dot println. So you can see it here, println. You can have different options. If you just put your mouse over there, so you'll get with what exactly that syntax will be there. And again, Eclipse IDE will provide more easiest approaches and best methods to recover and sort out within technical, logical and syntax error. If I take system.print.ln, then I'll be entering enter two inputs. enter two inputs. Just I taking same statement, then put the semicolon. It is accepting two inputs. Or enter first input. If you want, you can take enter first input. Just take enter first input. Then afterwards I'll be taking second one, enter second input. So enter second input. Now I'll be performing int c equals to b plus c. So you can declare it in the same line. So int b equal to int c equal to a plus b. Now I'll be printing system. You can see some error is there. Later system.out print ln, and the result, close the double quotes and appended with plus c, then close it and then put a double quotes. If any warnings or errors, it will be displayed here, right? Then I'll just save the file. Then you have a run option here, you can see it, and this is a console. You'll get an output here, so just run it. If you have any syntax error, it will raise it. So just I'll create one simple mistake here, error. Now you can see it. So once if you point a mouse in the Eclipse IDE, it will specify what's the reason of an error. Syntax error on token test, it is expected, so curly brace. Once if I put this, automatically this will going to be ignored, so you will not get a mark here. And warnings you can ignore, you can ignore the warnings, but error should not be there, right? So just save the file, save and compile it. Any syntax error, runtime it will display it. So compilation also you'll get some errors, or else runtime also it will get some error. Now you can see in the console, enter first input. It is asking an input. I'll just enter 25. Next again another input, again I'll enter 25. Now you'll get a result 50, right? So this is how you're going to be practicing the all technical programs, including object oriented concept, abstraction, encapsulation, right? In the next upcoming classes we'll be discussing how exactly we can use this Eclipse IDE to implement the core Java concept and advanced Java concept, right? Okay, thank you for watching, and these are steps how we can install a Java application or JDK and connect it with your Eclipse IDE. So in the next classes we'll see with how exactly we can create and implement a different types of Java program and all. Thank you for watching.